Are you ready for the best pancakes you've ever had? And they're grain-free. I have a great pancake recipe on the website, but grain-free. Haven't put one up yet till now. Got a 1/4 cup of coconut flour here. A 1/4 cup. And 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour. There's your starch. Now I've got potato starch, and we've got 2 tablespoons of it. And it's really tough sometimes to get out. And I'll show you what I do. Got a teaspoon here on reserve, and we'll just go right around because you want to make sure, especially when you're only using 2 tablespoons, let's make sure we get it all because it will change your recipe. There we go. This goes back in here. Now, those are our flours. We want to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and baking powder. We need our baking powder to be grain-free. So I've just made some. If you'd like to know how to make your own grain-free baking powder, visit my How To Basics video, Homemade Baking Powder, Grain-Free. You can make some. That was 1½ teaspoons of homemade baking powder. If you're not concerned with grain-free, but you love the idea of my coconut flour and starches recipe for these pancakes, you can certainly use 1½ teaspoons of traditional store-bought baking powder. So we just want to whisk these dry ingredients together. And we've just got a couple of things left here. We've got a 1/2 cup of coconut milk. You could use any dairy-free milk you like, or you could use regular dairy milk. And I have 2 eggs, and these are room temperature. You want to make sure those are room temperature so you will get maximum volume and leavening out of those eggs. Now over on the stove top, I have a couple things while I'm whisking this together you can take a look at. On medium-low heat, I have a little skillet here, and then I have some canola oil in a dish, just probably about a tablespoon, and I have my silicone brush. I'm going to brush my pan periodically. And you can use cooking spray there if you like. Whatever you want to use will work. So we'll whisk this together, and when you're using coconut flour, always make sure, or any flour, but coconut flour especially, make sure you get all the lumps out. Make sure you give this just a few seconds of whisking here. It's fiber, and it will absorb the liquids. And these will be really healthy, very simple pancakes. So what I like to do, you make them any size you like. What I like to do is come in. You know, the first one's the test pancake. Make sure the pan is warm enough, and if it's not warm enough, you'll bump the heat up just a little, and that's fine. So I like to take my 1-ounce scoop, it's 1/8 of a cup, and I like to have a little scoop here. I'm going to bump my heat up just a little bit, and then we'll just pour this in. I'm going to give this just a couple minutes, and when it sets on top, we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you exactly how it should look before you need to turn it. Come in, let me show you exactly how these need to look. A little different from traditional pancakes. You usually get lots of bubbles, and bubbles are good, but really what I want you to look for here on these grain-free pancakes using coconut flour is a drier top. So this looks pretty dry. You don't have as much shiny here, and I may have talked too long and gotten this one. Oh, that's perfect, a little brown. But then you want to turn this over once it gets that dry look and the bubbles just begin to form, because you won't get the same bubbles you get with a traditional pancake. Flip it over and give it another minute or minute and a half on this side. I'll finish these up and I'll show you how they look. Last pancake, flipping. And earlier I'm going to show you while this little guy's cooking. Come over here and take a look. And this one got a little brown, I was talking. But look at this one. This is my first pancake. My pan wasn't quite hot. So you want to test a pancake. And you can eat that one. Feel free to snack on it while you cook the rest. But see, these are really uniform. And you can look and see how nice and fluffy they are. But that's my test pancake. And when you came back and saw the other one I had done, this was already laying back there. And I always do one. And we'll eat that one too. It'll be just fine. If you want to keep these warm, 275, a foil-lined pan with a little foil on top. And you can put them in the oven while you finish cooking these. We'll let these sit for a second. I'll get a stack ready for us to sample and show you how great they look inside. Have a look. They look good. Just a little drizzle of maple syrup. Just a little drizzle. They really don't need too much. You can also put some cinnamon on these. Take a look. I'm going to take all 3 pieces. Look how light and fluffy those are. So good.